Hello everyone, I am back. Sorry it's taken so long. I took a little bit of a break after the Acolyte. I feel like I earned it. I thought about doing a review on Wild-Eyed and Wicked. Let me know if you're interested in that. Leave comments down below. It was gonna be a simple review. I just felt like, it's the meat.
What the meat of the bish.
It was more of a delicacy, if you will. So if you do want that review, it would be more short and sweet than anything else. But yeah, let me know down below. Either way, here we are yet again, and where one terrible show ends, another begins. So while the Acolyte has been cast into the fires, it seems Bezos has chosen to keep the Rings of Power.
Cast it into the fire! Destroy it! No.
So our show opens with fake Sauron talking to a bunch of orcs. Now, my first question is, where the hell are all these white dude orcs coming from, right? You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is this now? I thought the only orcish elf-looking dude was the guy from last season, and he died. So that's who I want to know who this is, right? Now, the orcs think Sauron is a liar, and then someone tries to kill him. That fails, and again, I didn't have the pleasure of reading the books. I do have them on the shelf behind me. Let me see if I can land my finger on it. Right there behind Pikachu is actual first editions that my brother got me. Shout out to Cooch Pooch. Check him out on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. If you have read the books and you know a lot about this, please let me know down in the comments. But it seems weird to me that Lord Sauron would present himself to the orcs as just a regular elf and that he would be accepted and crowned king. Now, they don't actually crown him king. They kill him and, you know, they check if the dude's dead, and then he blows up like a cold nuke.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
The orcs celebrate this white orc dude, right? For whatever reason. I don't really know why. Now, we watch the blood of Sauron drip into like a cavern. The blood trickles into a pond or a puddle that swallows up living creatures that are in the cave until it amalgamates into like this dark blob of shit. This dark blob of shit crawls its way down a mountain until it comes across this dirty hag's wagon. And I laugh because, I mean, when you see this lady, it just cracks me up. The lady tracks up some shit on her wagon wheel. The blob of shit eats the lady, and thus Halbrand is born. So I guess it really was Sauron the whole time. Sauron comes across men fleeing from orcs. This is where he learns of the symbol of kings that he uses to trick Galadriel in the last season. The man says he wears it to remember that no fate is certain. Sauron tags along with these folks onto the sea. The ship hits something or is attacked or whatever, and it begins to sink. Now, Sauron leaves the old man to die, but steals his necklace with the symbol. Mind you, the man's still alive.
You piece of shit!
I mean, he is the bad guy, right? So, Sauron swims out or whatever, and for whatever reason, this giant sea creature decides to ignore Sauron's delicious-looking ass.
What the hell is even that?
I don't know why. Maybe he communicated with it. If you know, again, the comment section is yours. Anyway, he's on a raft. This is when everyone's favorite girl boss shows up. Cut to, Galadriel and Elrond are on horses, racing desperately. Now, she's desperately trying to take his purse off of him.
Here comes marriage vows, followed by immediate child. Romance and affection falling off quickly. Mortgaged up the ass, overtaking domestic bliss. And here comes nasty attitude, followed by more.
She doesn't get it, and she's taken by guards to see the king. The king isn't having any of her shit, and rightfully so. He's on her ass about hiding her companion's identity. Now, I had a conversation with a friend recently about this, and now I feel a little vindicated. I was 99% certain last season she knew Halbrand was Sauron and said nothing to Elrond and Celebrimbor about it. She finally tells the king it was Sauron, and they aren't happy about it, and rightfully so.
Who is he?
He's not what I thought, which is the reason I did what I did.
Why do you dance so to avoid revealing the truth?
No, he's not what
Now, who is this man?
He's Sauron.
Waste of our time! Fucking waste of our time!
The king wants to see the cock rings of power. Elrond says they're corrupted. The king doesn't care, and he feels like they can't leave Middle-earth if Sauron is truly rising. Elrond isn't with the fuck shit here, so he leaves the lobby the only way that he can.
I got it. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America, America. Do you have your passport?
Off the cliff. Back in Mordor, Halbrand is a prisoner. The timeline is terribly confusing to me at this point. Again, that's just me. I'm assuming this is after the Southlands became Mordor, but then I'm confused by the presence of this white orc dude. He's not the same one from before, so there's more, I guess. I thought the other guy was the father, but apparently this is the father. I think what's throwing me off is that there are two of these orcs that are more elf than orc running around. Maybe this was to make the guy from last season seem less unique and make the audience feel less like more was meant to be done with him, if that makes sense. Anyway, Halbrand says free his people or they will be defeated. The white orc isn't hearing it. He threatens to kill Halbrand. Halbrand says killing him kills the information on Sauron as well. They don't really care and they toss him in a cell, but I guess they do kind of care because they don't kill him.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Froyo and Gandorf are hobbling along the desert. She asks him to share his nightmares with her. Maybe she can help. He says no. Some dickwad is watching them with a scope. She looks at a tree like it's candy. Gandorf says no, and then very easily relents and tries to bring it back to life. Now, Gandorf is out of practice with his magic, so he winds up exploding the tree because I guess he confused the growth spell with the explosion spell. They blow the tree up, and that's okay, because they're going to Bear Grylls this bitch, and they're going to eat the bugs inside. They talk about dreams or whatever and why he won't share it with her. They share an emotional moment, missing home, and how Gandorf can see a glimmer of home, but he can't truly recall it, which makes sense, right? Like you see things in dreams and you really try to rack your brain to remember it. So I was like, all right, cool. I can relate to this. Not bad. Back to Halbrand again. Some scumbag comes in and tries to get information about Sauron from him. Halbrand uses the food slopped on the floor to lure the warg into his cell. He talks to the warg, and I think now he commands it. The show cuts to this old guy working on boats. Turns out this guy is hiding Elrond. His name is Master Círdan, who is the oldest and wisest of the elves according to Elrond. The king sends a guard to Celebrimbor about Halbrand's true identity. Galadriel thinks the king is trusting her with the rings, but he assures her that they're only aligned because of the circumstances around the rings. He knows she's responsible for Halbrand and the creation of the rings. The guards looking for Elrond say they can't find him. Maybe he's dead. But girl boss Galadriel, she knows he isn't dead, because she's got it like that. She knows that Elrond would go to someone who's wise and words could sway the elves. It's almost like she read the script. It's almost like she read the script. Back with Elrond, Master Círdan talks about a battle from long ago. He tries to tell Elrond about throwing the rings into the fires, but is cut off because they hear the horses and elves approaching outside. Galadriel comes in to talk to Elrond, and you can tell that he doesn't give a single shit about what she's saying. Again, I agree with him. She tries saying that the rings are free of influence, but Elrond claps back with this golden line.
I know the three rings are free of his influence.
But are you?
Círdan has taken off with the rings, and Galadriel's lips couldn't be tighter about it. It's kind of hilarious. Back with our boy, Gandorf and Froyo, they've set a trap for the dickwad with the scope following them. Instead, they wind up capturing Samantha Wise Gamgee. She just so happens to have found maps that are in the same area that Froyo and Gandalf are lost in right now. So Gandalf, Froyo, and Samantha Wise are still being watched by the person with the telescope. Is it Cyrodiil or Kirador? I can't remember. Is it Cyrodiil or Kirador? Someone tell me in the comments. I can't even remember. Cyrodiil tries to throw the rings into the middle of the sea, but they jump back on the boat. And at this point, he holds the rings in his hands, and I'm assuming we're meant to think like he's starting to come under the sway of them. Halbrand wakes up to the father talking all this shit in his ear about being in his shoes before.
I was in your place once. In the eldest of the elder days. 13 of us were chosen to be blessed of Morgoth's hand.
This is really boring. You really need to up the energy level. I'm getting sick of this.
Halbrand is released as long as he swears fealty to the father. He swears fealty, but to the Lord of Mordor, which I suppose is meant to be clever.
You vow allegiance to Adar, Lord Father of the Uruks.
See that he's followed every step.
He's given a horse to go to the elves and find Sauron. Now, why they would do this is beyond me. He had no leverage. He had no proof that Sauron came back. They had nothing to know that this man would keep his word or his oath. So I don't know why they went through with this. Whatever. We cut back to the elves, who have a nice song, which is probably the most Lord of the Rings moment I've experienced up to this point in the show. The song is a million times better than the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Is there what? We provide what?
I just know something bad is going to happen.
Out there who supported us in that way, and supported us vocally despite and in the face of all of the vitriol that we received and the kind of the targeted attack, I would say, we received by the alt-right. Just that we were deeply in love.
All the elves are gathered around that big dead tree when Kirador shows up wearing one of the rings himself. He gives the other two rings to the king. Now, Elrond says no out loud, and this causes the king to drop one of the rings. That ring falls and tumbles all the way over to Galadriel. Galadriel puts it on. Once all the rings are being worn, the giant tree comes back to life. After this, the show closes with Celebrimbor at his new forge. That's when Halbrand shows up, and it's kind of a strange turn, but I guess word hasn't gotten to Celebrimbor yet that Halbrand is Sauron. Too bad Galadriel decided to ignorantly not tell anyone who Halbrand actually is. My final thoughts are this. This first episode, I guess, is decent. I mean, there's some things here and there that are kind of like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm still not a big fan of the Harfoots. I think Galadriel is insufferable still. It seems like maybe they're trying to do less girl bossing with her this season, but not really. I think, she still seems to fumble into ways that things are okay for her and work out for her, even though they really shouldn't. If anything, things should be going negatively for her, like extremely negative. The king should have wanted her dead for bringing Sauron into their midst and creating the rings. You know what I mean? She's done nothing but be insufferable this whole time. Anyway, I think the plot with Halbrand going back to the orcs and then them letting him leave to go find the elves and all that stuff, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Again, if you've read the books and you know about a lot of this stuff, please let me know down in the comments if this is what Tolkien actually wrote, because to me, it's kind of like, why'd they let him go? It doesn't really make sense. They should have killed him again, And then they would have seen that he's Sauron again. You know what I mean? There were some moments that I felt like, okay, maybe this show can make a good turn. I'm hopeful. If this season turns it around, hey, listen, I'll I'll give them a round of applause because it's a $1 billion show, which is quite ridiculous if I'm being honest. But yeah. All right. That's my review on Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 1. I hope you liked this review. If you didn't and you made it this far, I thank you for giving it a chance. Leave your feedback down below. If you did like the review, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff YouTubers ask you to do. And I'm always down there in the comments and responding, so feel free to share your experience or your thoughts or your hopes for the show. No matter where you are on this beautiful blue marble of ours, good day, good evening, and good night. Thank you. Peace.
Like to come back with Rob to America. America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. America. Beautiful.
Can go, be fit in the